What is up, everyone? Andrew here, out in the garage today. It is a brisk 12 degrees here in Tennessee, and it snowed last night, so they shut down work. So I got a little bit of time to come out here and mess with the car. Um, I'll catch you guys up with what I've already done off video. I started running the brake lines for my manual brake setup. I want to do a couple and make sure I was doing them right before I actually got on video and looked dumb in front of everyone. So I'll show you guys what tools I use to do the brake lines with, and then I'll show you guys what's going on in the car. So let me turn this camera around. Also, try something new, show my face. I got a couple comments saying that I should do like a video log style video and show my face. So if you guys don't want to see my face, then that's fine with me. I'll gladly go back to just filming on the front side of the camera. But if you like the way I'm doing this video, then comment and let me know. If not, then I'll go back to my old style of videos. So let me turn this camera around and I'll show you guys what's going on with the car. So as I said in an earlier video, I'm going to manual steering, which is already installed on the car here. As you can see, and also on these cars they have the Hydro Boost brakes and steering. So whenever you go manual steering, you also have to go manual brakes. With the modular engines in these cars, there's not enough room to put a brake booster. So you're forced to go manual brakes whenever you do the manual steering conversion. So I've got the strange manual brake conversion with the UPR billet block right here, which I've already installed on a firewall. And then I've already started running the brake lines for the front brakes. So on these strange master cylinders, it's recommended that you put the rear port on the master cylinder to the brakes that are going to require the most fluid. And it says on a drag setup, usually your rear brakes require the most fluid, and your front brakes on a street setup require the most brake fluid, or brake pressure, I should say. So with my car still having the purpose of being a street car, and the front brakes are larger anyways because they're stock, I'm going to run the back port right here to the front brakes. You can also see my line lock solenoid right here. This is the SLP solenoid for the 99 to 04 Mustang. It actually comes with pre-bent lines to go to the stock master cylinder that comes on the car, but I've rebent this line to work with the new master cylinder. And if you guys don't know how line light works, basically this is just all this is a solenoid, and you pump your brakes up. I have a switch in the car that I flip, and I let off the brake pedal, and this solenoid right here holds pressure in the front brakes, so my front brakes stay locked up and I'm able to spin the tires, warm the tires up without wearing the back brakes down. So another thing I like about going to manual brakes on the car is that it gets rid of all the clutter from the stock brake lines. The stock brake lines used to run all along the sides of the frame rail right here and come down, go across, and there was used to be where the ABS was here. I had deleted that and put T's in the lines, but it still looked kind of crappy. The lines would come up and you would see the T's, and then you have your lines that would run back under and go to your brake over here, and then also to the rear brakes. So what I'm doing with the new brakes is I'm running all the lines inside the fenders, and then I'm going to come under the radiator support over here and go to the brake on the other side, so you won't really see the brake lines with this new setup. So this port's going to the front brakes, this port will go to the back brakes. I'm not going to run all new lines to the back brakes. I'm going to try and run this line over to the other side where the back brake lines used to connect. There's actually two connectors over there. So hopefully I can reuse all the lines that run from behind this shock tower to the back of the car. You guys bear with me. I know brake lines aren't the watching someone run brake lines isn't the most interesting thing in the world, but I'll try to be a little informative about it, to a little bit that I know about flaring the lines, and I'll show you guys all the tools that are needed, your basic hand tools that you need to do a job like this. So I've already got everything laid out down here on the floor to do this job. So you can get get rolls of brake line at AutoZone or any parts store. This is just basic 3/16 brake line here. It's a 25-foot roll. I think it was like $10. It's not very expensive. You're also going to need a flaring tool. Recommend a double flaring tool for brake lines. And here's the tool. You can do several different sizes of brake line. And this is also another part of the tool. I'll flare a line here in a few minutes and I'll show you guys how this tool works. Got the tool for bending brake lines, which so far I've bent the little bit of brake lines I've done with my hand. But if you want to get a nice, I think this thing will do up to like a 90-degree bend in a line, so it's okay. You're gonna need a tool to cut brake line with. Once again, you can buy all these tools at your local auto parts store. That's where I got all these from. This tool is pretty easy to use and it works well. I've got a knife here to deburr the inside of the line when I cut it with this tool. Which now that I'm looking at it, I think this tool has a deburrer on it, which makes me feel kind of dumb. But there's a deburring portion on the tool right here. And that's the basic tools that you need to do brake lines with. So I'm going to get started on these things, and I'm going to try to get it some decent angles so you guys can see what's going on, and we'll go from there. So I'm ready to flare this brake line I have here, and I want to show you guys the part where I'm talking about you have to deburr the inside of the line. See if I can get the camera to focus on this. It's kind of hard. But whenever you cut this line, you get some material on the inside of the line that you have to clear out. So I'm going to take my tool with the deburring portion on it right here, stick it in that hole of the line there, and move it around. If I can do it right. It's kind of challenging on camera, so bear with me. I really like this tool. I'm going to use my knife that I showed you guys earlier. And always be careful and be sure not to cut yourself when you're handling sharp objects. Safety first. You can see the hole is already opened up. Even though the camera won't focus on it, the hole's already opened up more because I'm taking that extra material that was pushed over into the inside of the line whenever I was cutting it. Alright, so the line's deburred. Next thing you need to do, got my brake fittings here. You don't want to forget to put the fitting on the line before you flare it, because you're going to be mad at yourself. You're going to have to cut it and redo it, and it's already enough of a pain as is. Fitting goes on the line. Threaded portion faces where you were going to flare at. Alright. So this line has a coating on the outside of it. It makes it hard for the tool that I have to grab onto it. And then also the instructions for the tool say that they want you to taper the end of this line. So what I've been using is a Dremel with a sanding disc on the end. So give me a second, I'm gonna hook it up and I'm gonna scrape this coating off and taper the end of this line. Alright, so I got the coating ground off to the line. Now I'm going to take and taper the ends of the line. Alright, so as you can see, there's a taper on the end of the line now. Say this camera doesn't want to focus. Come on, iPhone. So it's hard to see, but there's a taper on the end of the line. So now you get your tool. 3/16 brake line, so we're going to use the 3/16 hole here. Slide it over the line. And there is this little piece I showed you guys earlier, right here. I'm going to use this bottom portion to measure the height of this line coming through the tool. So I can show you guys. Just like that. So I put the tool and put this little piece on the edge of the tool, and then I move the line up to that shoulder on the tool, which is really hard to show. But that's basically how it goes right there. So measure the height, get that right. Tighten the tool up around the line. I gotta find my wrench that fits this. Tighten the tool up. All right. So it's there, the line's tightened down on the tool. Now I'm going to take this piece again, take the nipple portion right there, slide it down inside the line, the hole on the line, like so. And then I'll take this tool, slide it over. Get it on the top of that little tool right there. Tighten it up. Make sure that it's even before I start cranking a bunch of pressure down on it. And I'm gonna run crush this tool or press this little piece all the way until it seats against the tool, the face of this tool here. All right, take it off. Take that tool out. Put this back on. Take the tip of it and put it on onto the end of the line. Tighten it up. Tighten it down until it stops. Take this tool off, drop it off, whatever. Loosen my tool up, loosen this part of the tool up, I should say. And there you have a double flare on your brake line. And the camera won't focus on it. It's awesome. There we go. There's how your double flare should look. And then you take your fitting and it slides up behind the flare like so. There you have it. So we'll get started running these brake lines. Okay, so I got both brake lines ran. Got the front brakes here going to the line lock, and the rear brakes coming out here on the front port, going to the car. You can see the way I ran the brakes down through the fender here. I had to drill a hole up here to get that line through. Come over. There at that T is the junction for the driver's side front brake here, and then that other side of that T keeps going, as well as that other line right there is for the back brakes. Comes over, goes down right there, and you can see they go across the radiator support where the original lines went. Go over here, you see the lines going across. I might mess with them a little bit more and get them to look a little bit straighter. They go across there and work our way over to the other side and show you guys what's going on over there. Get this light. Bear with me 1 second. So you can see the lines coming through right there. I've got to bolt this line right here and the other line against the frame rail here so it won't stick out like that. Coming up, you can see the other front brake line right there. It's going to this front passenger side brake. And then what I did is I didn't want to run new lines to the rear brakes because I like the way the stock routing is. So I teed the two stock lines together right here, as you can see. And then I ran this line right here is the one that's coming straight out of the front port of the master cylinder. So, very time consuming. It took me probably 3 hours to run the lines. I was being kind of meticulous, and it's kind of hard to work with the brake line and get it straight, but all in all, not a bad deal. And now that we got the brakes running, I can bleed them and get this thing working. So that's one less thing I got to do. That's all I got.